Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your continued support. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the political and socio-economic activities that are going on in the country are being watched both nationally and internationally. Kenyans living in the diaspora are following very closely, and they even give their views. People like Miguna, Nelson Amenya, Roselyne Akombe, and many other Kenyans are watching the transition from the she to sha and how it is becoming a fiasco. They are watching very closely and monitor as William Ruto wants to force cow vaccination against the chagrin of many leaders and Kenyans. They are watching and following very closely about Adani deal that we were told was cancelled, but when the courts asked William Ruto, can you provide any documentation to corroborate your assertion, he could not give. Instead, he ran riot, reading a riot act to us, telling us we have got a spirit of rejecting everything. Everything seems to be in shambles, and people are wondering, do we have a president who knows what he is doing? Now, one of the stories that is making headline is this story where the Karura Golf Range Limited wants to encroach into Karura Forest. Whenever we hear the name Karura Forest, one name comes to our mind. That one is the celebrated Nobel Peace Prize Wangari Maathai, one of our gallant women who stood up against the Kanu cruel hands and defended our forests. And he paid very bitterly and dearly. At some point, he was clobbered. So apparently, the National Environmental Management Authority, NEMA, and the Kenya Forest Service have issued a license to the Karura Golf Range Limited. Apparently, they want to construct a golf range, a restaurant, and a mini golf parking in Ngong Forest Road, Nairobi County. And this story has sparked a lot of debate and rejection, just like Adani did, just like the Taifa Healthcare did, just like the planned vaccination has done. And many people feel that William Ruto is not doing enough. He has given those institutions authority to perpetuate all this that looks like land grabbing. I want us to go straight to some of the documentation that we have. We have got a authorization document from the Kenya Forest Service and NEMA. Very first, I want us to go to the National Environmental Management Authority, NEMA, that says this is to certify that the environmental impact assessment project report received from Karura Golf Range Limited of PO Box that they are saying submitted to the National Environmental Management Authority in accordance with the Environmental Impact Assessment and Audit Regulations 2003 regarding the number one, proposed restaurant and golf range, whose objective is to carry on construction of a restaurant and a golf range located at within KFS Ngong Road Forest Station off the Southern Bypass in Langata Sub-County, Nairobi, has been reviewed and a license is hereby issued for the implementation of the project subject to attached conditions. The signature of the director of the National Environmental Management Authority is there. So that this was issued on 28th of November, just a month ago. Now that is from the NEMA. Now there is this one from, because I just want to have something that corroborates my facts. Number one, the other one is the Kenya Forest Service, and they're saying Managing Director Karura Golf Limited, PO Box, that one, special use license to Karura Golf Range Limited. The enclosed special use license is issued to Karura Golf Range Limited for the development, operation, and management of golf range, restaurant, and mini golf park in Ngong Road, Forest Station, Nairobi County. By a copy of this license, the County Forest Conservator, Nairobi County, shall facilitate access to the site and ensure all parties adhere to forest legislation and provisions of the special use license and make payments as indicated therein. It is noted that no trees will be affected by this project. Now, ladies and gentlemen, both the Kenya Forest Service and the National Environmental Management Authority, NEMA, have authorized and given the green light to the Karura Golf Course Limited to construct a restaurant, a golf club there, and a mini parking. This story sparked a lot of anger and rage, considering that we have come from far. People have paid by their blood. Now, I want us to look at what Roselyne Akombe is saying, because it is a warning. But before that, I want you to listen to Eden Duale, who is telling us that he's reacting only because this story sparked a lot of debate and Kenyans expressed their anger. Were it not for that, he wouldn't have reacted. And this is what he's saying very fast, because I wanted to look at Miguna warning and Akombe telling William Ruto, your goose is cooked. Duale is saying that my attention has this evening been drawn to a special use license issued to Karura Golf Range Limited by Kenya Forest Service on 14th June 2023 for the development, operation and management of golf range, restaurant and a mini golf park in Ngong Road, Forest, Nairobi County. And he says, also brought to my attention is an environmental impact assessment license number, this one, issued to the aforesaid company by the National Environment Managing Authority on 28th of November. Consequently, I have directed the Chief Conservator of the Forest and the Director General of NEMA to suspend the two licenses and prepare a detailed brief on the matter within 72 hours. My office will provide a way forward on the matter that has attracted, and I want you to listen to that. My office will provide a way forward on the matter that has attracted great public interest after the briefing by the CCF and the Director General of NEMA. Kenya Forest Service has been directed to refrain from issuing any additional special licenses. An audit of all licenses previously issued will be conducted in due course to ensure transparency and accountability. Now, the only reason why Duale is acting is because this issue sparked a lot of debate. Kenyans, as I told you, are watching very closely and they are not keeping quiet. They are not going to sit back and watch the country deteriorating further. Roselyne Akombe is saying this, and by the way, I realized that Roselyne Akombe has been part and parcel of fighting for the preservation of the forest. This is what Akombe is saying. In 1999, as University of Nairobi students, we braved acid, tear gas, and police brutality to protect Karura Forest. If we must come back 25 years later to defend it, we will do so. And then she gives us this from the Greenbelt movement that is saying, Karura Forest is more than trees. It's history, heritage, and hope for our environment. Now, Daktari Miguna is saying this. So, William Samoei Ruto is grabbing 50 acres of Karura Forest after Kenyans, including patriot Henry Omondi, stopped him from grabbing JKIA. And there are lawyers struggling to convince us that we must not focus on him, but on some incoherent judicial officer. Order. Kenyans, we must remove Ruto from power fast, now, not in 2027. It's urgent. Well, I don't know why Miguna keeps on telling us that we must remove Ruto while he is in Canada. Why can't he come and lead the revolution? Because, as I said, Kenyans who are in the diaspora have got a space to speak because no one will come to their houses at night. That is the advantage they have. And that's why we also thank them for speaking out. Because some of us, you know, the DCI can knock on your door anytime. But you see, for Akombe, for people like Amenya, for people like Miguna and many others, they can speak freely. Maybe they can try to frustrate your family. Like the other day, Nelson Amenya was telling us that the DCI was following his families. But for Miguna telling us that Ruto must be removed, yes, those are sentiments, but who will bail the cat? That is the question. So, ladies and gentlemen, Roselyne Akombe basically is saying that when she was a student in Nairobi University, I understand it's called the University of Nairobi, they rallied support behind Wangari Maathai, and she got scars. They were beaten up protecting that forest, and that's why the forest is there today. But under the Ruto leadership, it seems some people are encroaching. If NEMA has given the green light, the Kenya Forest Service has given the green light, and they're issuing documentation. Ladies and gentlemen, this is wrong, because we are encouraging if that is what money can do. You know, what will stop another person buying part of it? And before we know it, all our forests will be gone. Do we still have Uhuru Park? Because I know that Wangari was also beaten. Is that the kind of Uhuru Park? If Wangari would wake up today, is that the kind of Uhuru Park that he wanted? Is that the vision that she had? And I remember Wangari was saying, nature is so unforgiving. You cut trees, you will pay for it. Do you remember when William Ruto accused Raila, when Raila was trying to preserve the Mau forest, and he said they helped Raila in 2007, and now Raila wants to evict them from Mau forest. I mean, later, rivers that emanate from Karura, from Mau forest, started drying up, and that's when they started preserving this. Nature is very unforgiving. And when we see such kind of things happening, then we know that our president does not care, because the buck stops with him. Eden Dwele just came in because it sparked outcry. If members went, quiet, if Kenyans went quiet, nothing would have happened. And I want to tell you something. It has reached a point where it is man for himself, God for us all. Kenyans must rise up against Adani. Kenyans must rise up against vaccination. Kenyans must rise up against the encroachment of our forest. Logging is going on as I speak. And William Ruto is one person who has even declared a national holiday for tree planting. So we are planting trees, yet others are encroaching in our forests under the watch of who? The president. Licenses are being issued, and the international community must watch this, because Akombe is an international figure, and so they watch this. Next time William Ruto presents himself as a champion of climate change, we will present this to him. We need to be serious, and Kenyans must rise up. And Akombe is saying, if William Ruto is not careful, 25 years later, after they went to the streets and protected the forest, they were beaten, they will still go back. If that is what it takes to defend our country, and I know it is not only the forest, we need to protect our country. I don't know what you think, but that is my take.